Hey guys, what's up? I am back, and today we're going to be going over what is better to have in hockey: three goalies or two goalies. Running with the three goalie approach or the two goalie approach to the lineup. There's pros and cons to both sides. I'm going to be doing my best to go over every single one, or at the very least the most relevant ones for each concept of it. Let's go. Let's put a little background to what the three goalie approach and what the two goalie approach to hockey lineups is. Okay, so the three goalie approach is actually used more like in ECHL and maybe even the NHL. It's not used that much in the NHL. NHL usually opts to maybe go for like that two goalie approach like 90% of the time. Unless somebody's hurt on the roster, you usually will not see three different goaltenders on that roster. The three goalie approach, what it entails is it actually has you, there's, depending on how many roster spots, you just take one of the roster spots that would be used for a skater, and you would be using that for a goaltender, and that way you have three goaltenders. There's a lot of pros and cons to both of them. One of the pros to having the three goalie approach would be that if one gets hurt, you don't have to sign an e-bug, or you can just rotate them out, give them a day off every other day, and just rotate them in and out. That's some cons might be that you might not have enough skaters if you want to for back-to-back games. If you want to, like, if you don't want to sign somebody for back-to-back games. So, yeah, there's a lot of different ways you can do stuff. The two goalie approach could be better, depending on what kind of team you want to run, what kind of development you want to have, how many players you want to have, how many goalies you want to have, how you want to do back-to-backs. It's a lot on the coach's style. That's what it depends on, a lot. The two goalie approach is pretty much the opposite of the three goalie approach. You run with two goaltenders and have that just extra skater. This is NHL, how the NHL would work with it. ECHL may have a little bit different, which I watch the ECHL most. So the NHL would have two goaltenders usually with three scratch skaters. Usually that would be two forwards, one defenseman, or maybe two defensemen, one forward. Usually that's how that would work with the two goalie approach. With the three goalie approach in the NHL, you take one of those skaters away, and you have usually what they would go with is one scratch skater, one scratch defenseman, and then they'd have a scratch goaltender on there. It's a really cool concept to like study and look at what different teams do. Like I said, there's a lot of pros and cons to a lot of this. And it depends a lot on the coach's preference too. So basically what they would do is just sign an extra goaltender. I personally, this is just my views, it's not reflecting anybody else's views, and feel free to debate anything I say in this video in the comments, but please keep the debate civil. If it does get out of hand, I will step in, and it still crosses the line, then I will just delete that comment entirely. So, please don't, like, be mean, simple. Sorry, that could be the battery. So keep it simple. That's the main part of that. Pause it for a second. So yeah, free to debate. Keep it simple. I encourage you guys to debate stuff. But yeah, it depends a lot on the coach. Whether you, like, I've seen coaches from my team that prefer a two goalie approach. The one we have now is two goalie. I've seen a coach that preferred three goalies. He would literally sign an extra goalie and not use him that much. But at a time, we did have three goalies sent down from our two HL affiliates, two from one from the other. And he would just rotate them out, and that's how he coped with that. We didn't have any goalies that are contracted. We had them all AHL contracted. So there's certain times that you will be forced to go with a three goalie approach, even if you don't want to. So 3 goalie approach, me personally, I would rather go with that, like in the AHL and ECHL, because then you have an extra goalie. You don't have to go and sign an e-bug every time somebody gets hurt or something happens with their family, or they have a kid. You don't have to go out and sign. You can just take the scratch goaltender, activate them, and put them in that spot. It's a lot faster with a 3 goalie approach to make roster moves like that. I would think it's a lot faster to also just, you know, just have a good put together roster too. You can just substitute the goaltender in and out whenever you please. And so I personally would rather go with the 3 goalie approach because I feel like it's an easier way of going about things. That's not reflecting what you might think. What you might think is the 2 goalie approach is better because then you can have an extra forward that you can plug in for back-to-back games. And you can just start the backup and call somebody up from somewhere else or sign an e-bug or something like that. So it definitely is a preference of the person, but me personally, I would rather go with 3 goalie than a 2 goalie. Like I said, there's a lot of different stuff that you can do with the 3 goalie approach, but now let's move on to the positives and negatives of the 2 goalie approach. Let's start with the negatives, because those are a lot easier for me right now. Negatives is if somebody gets hurt or something happens, you have to go and actually sign a guy rather than just plugging a guy into the lineup. Another negative might be that if somebody gets called up, no, not just somebody, everybody, if your 2 goalies gets called up, you're screwed because you have no goalies that have been with you for the season. You have to go and sign somebody from collegiate or somebody from somewhere else, along with an e-bug probably. So that's a negative of the 2 goalie approach. Then here's the positives of the 2 goalie approach in my eyes. You can have extra forwards. That's always the plus, to have some extra players on your roster. You can use whenever you want to. If a player gets hurt, then you can just plug. Well, if 2 players get hurt in the same game, then you can just plug those guys in, place one on the IR, and sign another 2 players. Should be a scratch. And then release those 2 scratch players once the 2 players that are injured come back, and you can just roll with your regular lineup. Another positive might be that, well, you can roll with 2 goaltenders and still have them, still have just 1 forward and 1 defenseman, and then you can have a spot open on the roster for if you want to trade one player and get that too, or something like that. You can have an extra spot open for like waivers if you want. If somebody's really, really fucking good, you can use that guy to be claimed. You can claim that guy off waivers and not have to release anybody. You have a spot for him physically on your roster right then. So that's another positive. That being said, that's really all I have for today. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you next time.